We are back again in Mario Kart World to look at some crazy myths and claims to see if they are true or false. For example, will it rain coins in the open world? Can you survive lava using a star? And can you enter a cannon from the other side? Well, let's find out. Now, one new addition to this game that I don't really understand is the food items. Sure, the boost they give you is useful, but aside from that, it doesn't really fit into the game. In many ways, the normal mushroom item does a similar thing, but for some reason we need another item that almost does the exact same thing. However, apparently there's a small detail I missed when passing Yoshi's drive-thru. Strangely enough, the open sign at these restaurants stop illuminating when it's nighttime, which doesn't make sense at all. But is this even true? Well, I never looked at the signs, so I filmed some footage at different times during the day and night to see if there was a difference. As far as I can see, the signs and place in general are lit up during the evening, and I didn't see a specific open sign. So yeah, this claim confused me a bit, and as far as I can see, it is complete baloney. One thing that has always been an incredibly dangerous hazard in every single Mario Kart game is lava, which makes perfect sense. And of course, in Mario Kart World, it is once again a terrible idea to drive through it. But apparently there's a way to do it without Lacatu saving you from literal hell. The only thing you need to do is use a mushroom. If you use one of these while going over the lava, you'll be fine. So I did just that. Now, as you can see, it works, allowing you to take all kinds of new shortcuts. But you gotta watch out. If you lose speed while still being in lava, you are beyond screwed. So better think twice before doing this. When roaming the open world of this new Mario Kart title, you come across loads of crazy things, like trucks you can take over, classic Mario enemies attacking people on the road, and even cannon cars. But after seeing all this madness on the road, I started wondering, can you also enter these cannon cars from the other side? For example, by using the new jump ability to hop right into it, which is exactly what I tried, and I was very confident that this would work. But I was wrong. I tried it multiple times, but as you can see right here, this never worked. It isn't possible at all, which was so strange to me. I've been playing Nintendo games for decades, and the more recent titles all gave the player a lot of freedom, making many crazy things possible. But apparently Nintendo didn't keep this in mind. So you can only enter it by driving, but hopping in from the front does nothing really. Sometimes you lovely people in the comments challenge me to do the impossible, even though I am no pro to say the least. But hey, I do like to try, and this commenter asked me, can you reach the roof of high up toad houses in the Acorn Heights map while free roaming? Well, I had no idea. I wasn't even sure what I was looking for, but quite quickly I saw the toad houses at the finish line, so I tried to get on top of them. First, I used a rail to try and jump on them from the side, which didn't work at all, but I was able to do a trick off of them. So I went with a different approach. Maybe I could fly on top of them from above, but once again I was met with failure, leaving us with one last option, dropping down on it from above by driving off the edge of the road. But I bounced off the roof. So I don't think you can get on top of it and stay there. Nintendo made sure that it's anything but stable ground, leading to you falling off every time. As we are experiencing this new Mario Kart game, many of us will start experimenting as much as possible. I mean, you want to know what is possible and what isn't. Now, one question I had is, do shells grind on rails as well? This could be useful to hit enemies in front of you who are trying to get away. But it could also be a problem because maybe red shells won't hit their target anymore because they are sort of stuck on the track. So I booted up the game, started a race, got my hands on some shells, and gave it a shot to see what would happen. Now the green shell stuck to the guardrail like glue, following it all the way to the end and hitting my target perfectly. But I was afraid that we would see a similar thing with the red shell, making it a lot less useful. However, it actually did something rather crazy. After following the guardrail for a while, it all of a sudden took a right turn, hitting the driver in front of me. Now I bet that this is incredibly hard to dodge, because holding an item behind your cart won't save you if this happens. So yeah, using guardrails or other stuff you can grind on to hit others with shells works, and can even be a genius move. Sometimes people make crazy suggestions in my comments, and one that I found interesting involves Nabbit, because this character can be found in the open world where you need to catch him, but you can also select him as a driver. And online I saw somebody ask the question, can you catch Nabbit while playing as Nabbit? Can there be two Nabbits at the same time? Well, I went to a location where you can find Nabbit to see if I could catch myself? It's a bit weird, to be honest. And to my surprise, Nabbit was there, and I could catch him as well. Nothing was different really. So yeah, this just works. Apparently there are more Nabbits out there, because oddly enough, the one who runs around in the world is much smaller than the selectable character version. So I guess they are different? Maybe? Who really knows? The open world of Mario Kart World is filled with details, things that make the game feel more lively and interesting. Just look at these little toad farms found in the open world with turnip patches and crates filled with apples. However, apparently these turnips hide a secret. If you drive into them, a super mushroom might appear. But is this true? Well, I decided to do some property damage to figure out whether this works. I mean, those toads can miss a couple of gigantic radishes, right? Now, when I tried this, I could see that sometimes a super mushroom would fly out of the ground together with the radish. And I could pick it up and use it as well. Now, I have no idea why it's there and in what kind of scenario you would ever grab one of these super mushrooms, but hey, clearly it works. So next time you pass one of these patches, be sure to drive through them. When I was browsing X to see what people were thinking of this new Mario Kart game, and yes, I still use that hellish website and don't ask me why, I saw a rather strange tweet. Someone said that the wheels of the karts will actually change size when off-roading. They become almost twice as big. Now, I hadn't really noticed this, so I went into the open world to see if this was true. And as you can see, they were right. These small wheels need more grip when off-roading, and Nintendo solved this by making them twice as big as soon as you touch grass. Which looks incredibly odd, but it works, and is really in the game. In the previous myth-busting video, we looked at the holy grail of Mario Kart tricks, dodging or avoiding the dreaded blue shell, the one item that can literally ruin a perfect run. And this time we are once again looking at a way to avoid this item. According to Van from my comment section, you can actually dodge the blue shell by using the new rewind feature that Nintendo added to the game, which sounded like a bit of a bug. So I did some research to figure out if you could do this, and the answer is yes. When the shell is almost there, you just hit the rewind button and easily dodge it. Clearly, Nintendo didn't keep this in mind. Now, luckily enough, this trick only works when you're offline, because I can imagine that this busted move would ruin online matches. But as you can clearly see, this does work. However, I expect that Nintendo will patch this at some point. It looks more like some sort of bug instead of an intended mechanic, but I guess only time will tell. Sometimes people have a problem with how I test a certain myth or claim in a video, and so they want me to give it another try. Last time I covered a claim that if you're in a hot area, then your character will start fanning themselves to cool off. But according to EdDog, I did one thing wrong. It is in the game, but only if you choose a human driver like Peach or Mario. So I did just that, and sat there waiting for Peach to do, well, anything really. But as you can see, not much happened. She just sat there and did nothing. So yeah, I do not think this claim is true. I tested it twice, and it didn't work at all. I'm sorry, EdDog. Now this next claim is quite simple. I just had to test the limits of the open world to see if Lacatu would show up to stop me. Because Bros Road Gaming claimed that Lacatu will pick you up when you go too far out in the ocean, which I had actually seen before, but still I went out there to see it once again. And as you can see, Lacatu will grab you and take you back. He's just there as a way to keep the player in the map. No open world game is infinite, so you need to add some boundaries. And this is how Nintendo did it. So yeah, the claim is true, but in the end, this isn't too special. In one of my older Mario Kart World videos, I pointed out how the Mario movie influenced a lot of Mario games that came out afterwards. Super Mario Bros. Wonder took a lot of inspiration from the movie and changed a lot of designs to look similar to it. However, when the new Mario Kart game came out, Hunter the Hero wondered if there are any references to the movie in the game. Well, I had no clue, so I decided to search high and low for any Easter eggs or secrets in maps or the open world. But no matter how hard I looked, I couldn't really find anything. Sure, some character designs are different, but that isn't a direct reference to the movie. Even when I did research online, I found absolutely nothing. So as far as I know, this game doesn't directly reference the movie at all. When I first read this claim, I was very skeptical. It seemed impossible, but as always, I have to test it. Dr.Wily said in the comments that it sometimes rains coins in the open world, which is just bizarre. I had never seen it. Out of all my hours in Mario Kart World, I had never experienced this. So I decided to look around online to see if I could find any evidence of this being real. And as far as I can see, it really is in the game, but I have no idea at all what triggers it. As far as I figured out, it's a random event. Well, unless you press certain P-switches. And I gotta say, it's pretty cool. So yeah, Dr.Wily was right, and I never expected it to be the case. Now this is another small one, because Nintendo just loves to hide stuff in plain sight, and people will only notice it decades later. But this one is rather obvious. Cursed Crocodile claimed that Rob is also in the new Mario Kart, and he hasn't been seen in one of the games since the DS. Now I had already heard of this, so I was pretty sure it was true. And as you can see right here, he is in the game. So it's a bit different this time. He isn't a playable character and is only a bike. So yeah, he is in the game, but I prefer what they did in the DS title. I mean, we can already drive around as a crab or dolphin, so why not an awkward looking robot? But hey, clearly Cursed Crocodile was right. Now we already tested whether a mushroom can save you from lava, and that worked incredibly well. So I wanted to take it a step further, and decided to use the star to see if I could just drive around on lava without dying. After some driving around, I got my hands on a star, and readied myself to drive straight into a whole river of lava. Now as you can see, I was completely safe. The heat didn't bother me at all, and I could drive around freely. But then it all went horribly wrong, because as soon as the star runs out, you will drown in the lava, which is a terrible way to go. However, if you just use this item correctly, it does make certain crazy shortcuts possible. And in general, this game already has some of the most insane strategies ever seen in the whole franchise. Now those were all the myths and claims we had for this video, but don't worry, I made another video just like this, so be sure to check it out. Aside from that, be sure to leave a like and subscribe so you won't miss the next video. Thank you all so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed. It is so hot, it is crazy, I'm dying at the moment. Yeah, leave your ideas below and I'll check them out. And probably more Mario Kart World and also Donkey Kong Bonanza coming your way. I'm pretty excited for Bonanza, so expect videos on that. Okay, cool, bye!